Hi, welcome to this short video giving some advice for writing your research questions. So for this class, you selected a social or environmental issue to investigate. Keep in mind that this research paper is a formal composition based on an investigation of other writers' ideas about a topic. It's more than just a summarized version of what others have said. You'll be synthesizing information gained from your research sources, and then you'll be including your analysis of that information. Often the first step to writing a research paper is determining your goal based on your interests and what you want to learn about the topic you've selected. You can brainstorm what you want to learn about your topic, then you'll devise a plan for your research. This can involve picking a few keywords that are the essential ideas you want to explore, and also coming up with a few research questions that you want to find the answers to. For many papers, your thesis statement might be your answer to your research questions. So that's the same for this essay too. Your thesis will be the answer to those questions. Keep in mind, you may decide to change your research questions and shift your focus if you come across a more interesting idea. You are not married to your original topic, and you might come across information that causes you to rethink and adjust your topic further. So come up with a plan, but also be flexible to changing your focus. Choosing a few specific research questions will help you keep your overall goal in mind and keep you from going down the research rabbit hole. By going down the rabbit hole, I mean getting lost in the research and investing a lot of time reading sources that might not be that relevant to your essay. If you have a lot of curiosity about your topic, it can be very tempting to read everything you find that is somehow connected to your topic. Keeping your research questions in mind should help you eliminate sources that are only tangentially related to your topic. I suggest scanning your sources, and if they look interesting to you, but not that relevant to your topic, I encourage you to keep searching for sources that are more connected to your focus. A tip would be for sources that you might not use, but are interested in potentially reading later, you could just save all the links. Give yourself permission to stay on track and just email yourself those links or save them in a document and put them aside for now. So one of the first steps is deciding if your topic is narrow enough to cover in 6.5 to 9 pages. So for instance, if I was writing on the topic of homelessness, there's many subtopics connected to that. And I might make a brainstorm and list all those subtopics and then choose a few that I think I could easily cover in 6.5 to 9 pages. So for instance, I might be really interested in what's creating the problem. So I might choose to explore how housing costs are tied to homelessness. This is an article from The Guardian about Los Angeles in particular and Disneyland workers. So Cinderella is homeless, Ariel can't afford to live on land. So Disney's been under fire for their pay. 1 in 10 Disney employees have experienced homelessness because of low wages. But maybe you don't know how you want to narrow your topic yet, or you're still kind of deciding. Wikipedia can be a great jumping off point to help orient you to the larger topic and also to help you recognize subtopics. So if I was writing about homelessness in the United States, I might just type that into Wikipedia. And here's what I would find. I would find a lot of history, and then I'm going to find some demographics, so specific groups of people experiencing homelessness. I'm going to find some information on how the problem has been addressed, what people are trying to do to solve it. I'm going to find information on public attitudes, social perceptions. So there's a lot of subtopics. And if I scroll through this, if I hadn't picked one out, this can be a really good way to start noticing what are some of the subtopics within this larger topic. So for instance, I might choose to focus on a particular demographic. I might focus on college youth who are experiencing homelessness, which is a growing problem. Or I might decide that I want to focus on foster youth. In that case, all my research questions would be about foster youth. So I might ask questions like, how can we reduce homelessness for foster youth? What are the reasons that so many foster youth end up homeless or experience homeless for some period of time? what percentage of foster youth experience homelessness? So a lot of questions surrounding that. Or if I was interested in analyzing the cause, I might look at the housing costs, other causes, or I might focus on a proposed solution, or I might compare and contrast different solutions. So for instance, Housing First is one solution that a lot of people are advocating for. And the basic idea is that first you provide permanent, stable housing, and then you ask people to become sober and to find employment. But if you house them first, that increases the chances of success. It's a controversial policy. It would be an interesting one to explore. However, please keep in mind that Wikipedia is just a jumping off point. It has value, it can provide a good overview of a topic, but for this class, you can't use Wikipedia as a source that you quote from, or include it in your works cited page for your paper. This is true for many other college-level courses. Teachers have various reasons for saying Wikipedia is not something you can cite in a research essay. Some feel that it's not that credible, since as a wiki, it means that anybody can edit the page. Although the information is usually backed with sources which are linked and fact-checked, there are sometimes inaccuracies. Another reason that teachers don't want students to use Wiki is that it's a secondary source. It's not the original source of the information. So when you're researching, if you can track down the original source, it's preferred, since reading the original gives you way more detail and way more context. Wikipedia makes it so easy for you to track down the original. Usually you just click right next to the information, there's a number, or you can also scroll down and you'll see an extensive references section with links. So when a student cites Wikipedia, it seems like they really rushed the research process and didn't take that extra time to click on the links and read the original. In most cases, you should avoid dictionaries and encyclopedia as sources. Since encyclopedias are really meant to prepare you to do your research, they don't count as evidence that you have researched. For encyclopedias like Wiki, someone found the sources, organized the info, summarized, synthesized, and paraphrased. So it's just a jumping off point, but don't quote, paraphrase, or summarize from it for your own essay. In other words, Wikipedia is a great resource to orient yourself to the topic. I use it for this reason often. But when you're doing research, you really should be deeply investigating a topic. So when a student cites Wikipedia, it sends the message that they haven't deeply researched. They have just stopped at the very early stage of the research process. I want to talk a little bit about writing your research questions. I'd like you to focus on two things. First, make sure that you have at least some questions that require your own interpretation. In other words, it's fine to have a few research questions that can be answered by facts alone. For example, with that topic we were talking about, I might want to know how many homeless people are in California. This is important background and context. And I might find at least 134,000 people on a given night. I might also want to know how many homeless people are employed. And I might focus on San Francisco, for instance. And then I'd want to know about 13% of people experiencing homelessness are employed full or part-time. So this is really important for the context. But for this class, the research essay is more than just a summarized version of what others have said or written. So you want to have some of your research questions that require your own analysis. You can think about your analysis as being your opinion about the issue that you're exploring, your reasoned academic opinion supported by evidence from the research. So how is the cost of rent contributing to homelessness in San Francisco? There's many ways that that can be looked at. It's not just a straightforward black and white answer, so it's more of a question that requires analysis. Should rent be controlled in some communities to help with homelessness? So people disagree about this, so it requires your own analysis, your own opinion supported by evidence. Why are residents opposed to tiny homes is another one that requires analysis. Is one solution better than alternatives? So those are all examples. For me as your English teacher, your analysis is the most interesting part of your research essay. It's what I enjoy reading the most. So I'm looking for how you're analyzing and synthesizing all the information that you've found, how you construct your argument, your position, what choices you have made about how you use evidence to support your analysis. I've read many papers on the same topic, but honestly, it never gets boring because I get to read various viewpoints and ways of looking at the same issue, and I get to see how you're constructing your own arguments. Another thing to keep in mind is it's great if all your research questions are connected. By that I mean they should all feel like they belong in the same essay. They should have the same central focus. You might have heard people say that research is a cyclical process. By that I mean you're going to start with coming up with a plan, your research questions and search terms, and then you're going to be searching. As you search, you're going to be critically evaluating the results and deciding if they're worth including in your paper or not. And then you're going to be organizing and writing your ideas and determining if you have enough information. And then often you'll realize that you want to investigate something further, and then you'll devise another plan to fill in that gap, another research plan, and then search, and then evaluate. So it's a very dynamic process. Also, you may end up going in a direction you didn't originally envision, but that's part of why it's a dynamic process too. For the next activity, you're going to be writing 6 research questions and submitting them. Thanks for watching this video.